The advertising executive, the photographer, the filmmaker, and the trash man all wanted to know,
how can we make a living doing this?
I think we need our own TV show.
And here it is.
join Cookie, the captain, Mr. Flint and Bill as they discover what the finest cruising grounds of the world have to offer on Iron John Cruising. A favourite destination for yachtsmen the world over is Chesapeake Bay, located on the eastern seaboard of the United States with over 8,000 miles of shoreline. Today we'll visit historic St. Michael's, Maryland and explore nearby Wye River.
Good morning. Welcome aboard the Iron John. I'm Cookie, and this is Bill.
Good morning.
And this is Mr. Flint.
Thanks.
Morning, Captain.
Morning, Captain.
Good morning, lads.
This is the captain. He's not a real captain, but we call him captain because he owns the boat.
Bill is a real captain, but we call him Bill to avoid confusion.
Cookie, what are you making for breakfast?
Reservations.
I'm going back to bed.
Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to Carpenter Street Saloon. Can I take your order?
I'm going to do the seafood omelet, pancakes.
Okay.
And I like C Street's magical steak and such.
For breakfast?
While we have breakfast, Caitlin's going to take you on a tour of the town that fooled the British.
To the boys, the heart of town is the harbour, where expensive yachts rub shoulders with bay-built workboats. At the time of the American Revolution, the harbour was consumed by the industry of shipbuilding. Today, most of the shipyards are gone, and the main industries are tourism and the catching and serving of seafood. Here is the Crab Claw. Across the way, you'll find the shore restaurant and lounge at the Harbour Inn Marina. This is St. Michael's Crab and Steakhouse. That's the Town Dock Restaurant. And don't miss Foxy's Marina Bar.
Home of the 10-ounce martini.
And there are more restaurants in town on Talbot Street. You'll also find boutiques, interesting shops, and antique galleries.
What are you looking at?
Alonzo Crumpton's daughter, Gertie, who was regarded as a great beauty in her time.
She looks pretty good here.
Do you take magic beans?
No, we don't do beans.
I don't think anybody's going to mind if I borrow some rosemary.
The Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum was founded in 1965 on Navy Point in St. Michael's. On permanent display is the nation's most complete collection of Chesapeake Bay artefacts, visual arts and watercraft, including the Hooper Strait Lighthouse built in 1879. This is called a screw-pile lighthouse, built on special iron pilings which were tipped with a screw that could be turned into the river bottom for a depth of 10 feet or more. The dwelling was designed as a wooden cottage-style structure with living quarters on the first floor, consisting of a roomy kitchen with a southern exposure, a pleasant sitting room complete with pot-bellied stove, and 2 bedrooms. The plumbing was situated outdoors. The second floor was reserved for storage, and the third floor was the lantern deck. In 1822, a French physicist named Augustin Fresnel invented a lens that looked like a giant glass beehive. The concentric rings of glass prisms bent the light into a narrow beam that could be seen 20 miles away.
The keepers would have opened this 3 or 4 times a night, put their oil lamps inside. Now we simply have a switch downstairs where we flick on the electric light.
This lighthouse once lit the way through the tricky waters of Hooper Strait. Because the bay is shallow with dangerous shoals, bay lighthouses and their keepers were essential to safe navigation.
Mr. Flint, more oil for those lamps.
St. Michael's architecture is primarily of the Victorian period, but there are structures on the walking tour which date back to the 18th and early 19th centuries. Many of the historic homes have been converted into shops and bed and breakfasts, providing unique accommodations. St. Michael's derived its name from the Episcopal parish established here in 1677. Walking tour brochures can be obtained in many of the businesses throughout the town. Public restrooms are located behind Long and Foster on Talbot Street. You may be wondering why Cookie referred to St. Michael's as the town that fooled the British. During the War of 1812, privateers and gunboats produced here harassed British shipping to the point that several men of war were ordered up the Chesapeake to shell St. Michael's and destroy her shipyards. Anticipating the attack, the townsmen, under the leadership of Brigadier General Perry Benson, hung lanterns high in the treetops and darkened all the houses. On the evening of 10 August 1813, the fleet arrived off St. Michael's and commenced shelling the village, but the misty lights in the treetops misdirected their fire, and the British overshot the town with every round but one. That cannonball crashed through the roof of William Merchant's house and bounced down the staircase, barely missing his wife and daughter. The house has since become known as the Cannonball House.
I gotta pick up some things here. I need some half and half. I need Old Bay, I need vinegar, I need pickles, port, and chicken necks.
I'm a breast man.
It's for bait.
Ooh, look at these steaks.
The boneless ribeyes.
I better have 4 of those.
You want crunchy dills or kosher dill spears?
Dill spears.
Okay. We better get some olives for the captain. Jalapeno stuff?
Nope.
Maybe we ought to get the martini olives.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love provisioning here. It's one-stop shopping.
$63.99. How'd you like to pay for that?
Magic beans?
Okay.
The boys have had a very agreeable stay in St. Michael's, almost a romp at times, but I sense that they grow restless and to linger would be totally foreign to their policy.
Next stop, the Wye River.
Without a moment's hesitation, the Flab Four bid St. Michael's a fond adieu and wend their way toward the Wye River.
The yacht tied up here is the ex-presidential yacht Sequoia.
Launched in 1925, she was elegantly shaped by Norwegian-born John Trumpy. Never intended as a presidential vehicle, she was built for Philadelphia banker Richard Cadwallader, who christened her during Prohibition with a bottle of illegal champagne.
But right now, I'm feeling kind of parched. You know, Bill is not only a real captain, but he's our designated driver. Here's to you, Billy.
Thank you, Bill.
From here to red number 4 at the mouth of Wye River.
Change course to 20 degrees, staying clear of the shoal to port, which is all that remains of Herring Island, and Bob's your uncle.
We're here.
The Wye is actually 3 rivers in one.
Wye proper, Wye Narrows, Wye East River.
With Wye Island stuck in the middle.
Here is an island that's about 2,450 acres,
Ranger Davis.
about 4.4 square miles. about 40 miles of shoreline.
90% of Wye Island is managed by the Department of Natural Resources.
And that means it's uninhabited, so nobody lives there.
Which makes it perfect cruising ground.
In 1668, the Lloyd family acquired Wye Island. In 1770, the island was passed down to Martha and Mary Chew, making them two of the richest women in Maryland. They divided the island, each taking half when they married John Beale Bordley and William Peka. Mr. Peka became one of the signatories of the Declaration of Independence and the third governor of Maryland.
And about 2/3 of the island eventually was owned by Mr. and Mrs. Glenn Stewart.
Guy built the pink castle.
They ran cattle here on the property.
He always stayed on his 80-foot schooner, Centaur.
Centaur. Upper half man, lower half horse. Now we can't find a picture of this guy anywhere, but he was bigger than I am, 6'4", 250 pounds with a patch over one eye and a Hercule Poirot mustache.
He got on his boat one day, sailed off into the sunset, divorced Mrs. Stewart, never to be seen again.
That's not Mrs. Stewart.
How do you know?
Because it's Fannie Mae Salter, the last female lighthouse keeper on Chesapeake Bay.
This is Wye Narrows.
A point of interest on the mainland before the bridge is Chef Boyardee's house.
Cookie, come look.
What?
Come out of the galley. It's Chef Boyardee's house.
I'm making lunch.
Or it's Chef Boyardee's trees. Chef Boyardee's duck blinds. Chef Boyardee's chimney.
Some cooks make money.
Some don't.
Wye Narrows Bridge, dead ahead.
The bridge across Wye Narrows is, unfortunately, a fixed bridge with a vertical clearance of only 10 feet, which prevents larger yachts from circumnavigating the island.
Watch your head.
2 bridges ago, there was a draw span here, which you could get off your boat to open for yourself. Beyond the bridge and round the next bend, you'll find Wye Hall, constructed in the early 1930s in the footprint of the original mansion built by William Peka in 1793.
Anyone hungry? You know, the osprey's a member of the eagle family.
Au contraire, Mr. Biggums, that would be the hawk family, genus Pandion, species P. haliatus.
Like anybody really cares.
Its name comes from the Latin word meaning bone crusher.
Well, at least that's interesting.
As you round the island, you're sure to see one of the symbols of Chesapeake Bay, the great blue heron, genus Ardea, species Ardea herodias.
Must she always do that?
Is there going to be a quiz?
You'll also find snowy egrets, cormorants, mallards.
Isn't that a snowy egret?
The snowy egret, genus Agreta thula. Their showy plumes, characteristic during the mating season, are sought after by milliners the world over. No matter where you cruise on Wye River, snug anchorages abound.
But our favorite is Dividing Creek.
For supper, Cookie has requested 24 Wye Island jimmies.
Male blue crab.
Calanectes sapidus.
Like anybody really cares.
Calanectes is Greek for beautiful swimmers, and sapidus is Latin for tasty or savory. The boys are using chicken necks for bait. Drop it to the bottom of the creek and tie off the string.
Got one.
When the string is taut, a crab is on the line. Bring it in gently, and Bob's your uncle, he's in the net.
How you guys doing?
Got one.
One? Look at these beauties. Put them right in the pan there. Ow, you! Everybody in the hot tub. Okay, we got our crabs in the kettle. So now let's prepare the steamer. We want to take vinegar and pour enough in to cover the rings in the bottom of the pan. And now we're going to add a little water. 2 beers.
One for the crabs. And one for Cookie. When the steamer begins to simmer, place the kettle on top. Crab seasoning. Get these babies nice and coated, because that spice is what's really going to count. That'll take about 25 or 30 minutes. Ooh, cocktails.
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 The captain likes his martini.
2 ounces of Plymouth gin, 1 teaspoon of dry vermouth, 1 teaspoon of brine from the olive jar, shaken to waltz time.
The martini is always shaken to waltz time.
Bill invariably has rum and Coca-Cola.
But tonight, Mr. Flint and I are going to sample the exotic nectars of the Caribbean with a Pusser's painkiller. 1 ounce of cream of coconut per drink. 1 ounce of orange juice. 4 ounces of pineapple juice. Mr. Flint.
3 for Mr. Flint.
And 3 for Cookie.
The painkiller is always shaken to island rhythm.
Only fresh nutmeg will do. Oh, here, take a sip of that.
Beautiful. Very festive.
Get you there real quick, man.
Bon appetit.
We got crabs. This is a male crab right here, and you lift this apron up. The female crab has a bigger, wider apron. Then, get your thumb in that spot, and you pull that shell off. Grab the front jaws, and break that off. And these are the devils, or dead men, or dead men's fingers. You want to cut those right off. Now, break that crab in half. And all the little compartments have meat inside.
A Cookie, what is this yellow stuff?
Mustard, a very tasty fat inside the crab. This is the back fin the crab swims with. It's the biggest muscle, and we'll get the biggest chunk of meat out of it. This is the claw, and you tap it just like this, and yeah, baby.
Port, anyone?
This evening, Cookie has selected Graham's 6 grapes. 6 grapes is pleasantly smooth in the palate despite its youth. It is full and rich in the mouth with fresh blackberry and red plum notes. The finish is long and clean.
It's not bad. I'm not sure though. All right, 2 for 1 anyone?
The Fuente family's tobacco roots go back to Old World Cuba. Arturo learned the art of manufacturing handmade cigars from his father. His son Carlos Sr. was born into the cigar business, his first home serving as the Fuente Cigar Factory in Tampa, where he worked after school learning the ritual of rolling cigars by hand.
I'll take one.
The Fuente's traditional Grand Reserva blend is mild to medium in body with a nutty core and delicate spice.
What's truly amazing about the making of a cigar is just how many hands go into the entire process, from the initial planting of the seed beds all the way to the final rolling of the wrapper onto the finished cigar, so that Cookie and Mr. Flint can enjoy a premium cigar with a great glass of port after a fabulous dinner.
Okay, here we are. Tomorrow morning, I think we ought to shoot out the river and up to Prospect Bay and into Kent Narrows.
We could head out of Wye River,
Annie's, the Jetty Dock,
or
maybe
maybe
the
always
seafood market at Fisherman's Wharf.
I'd like to try that
Or
new
another
restaurant.
option,
You know,
just
the
the river.
or you know what? Maybe a steak at Luna's.
Join us next time,
potatoes
and we'll go somewhere.
I see by the anchor light we've come to the end of another adventure of Iron John cruising.
Good night, Captain.
Good night, Mr. Flint.
Good night, Bill.
Night.
Good night, Cookie.
Cookie?
Lamb chops.